It's day 2 here in Blaine, Minnesota at the 2014 USA Ultimate US Open Championships. Hey again, everybody. I'm Evan Lepler. The wind picked up here on Friday. The intensity did too. So many great games. Let's jump right into the day 2 highlights. We begin with two perennial powers on the women's side, Seattle Riot and San Francisco Fury. Riot the only perfect women's team on day 1. Here's Rory Titcomb using just the right amount of float, connecting with Sarah Griffith for the opening point. Fury answered in style. Dara Clancy shoots for Claire Desmond, who gives up the body, and she's got it. Riot Shannon O'Malley has an open target. The backhand to space, floating for Khalees Cardenas, and she's there. Later, Bailey Zahnizer feeding Angelica Boyden. Riot with all the momentum. And in the end, Alyssa Weatherford flicks for the game-winning score, avenging Seattle's loss at Solstice 2 weeks prior. Riot takes down Fury 15-7. Checking two of the other top women's teams, Vancouver's Traffic and DC's Scandal. Traffic's Allie Short delivers to Carolyn Churchland. And Vancouver off to the good start. Later, Rachel Moen's perfect put to Laura Mason. And the break gives Traffic a 2-zip lead. But DC, with way too much firepower to go quietly, Opie Payne to Sandy Jurgensen, who sees Kimberly Beach in the end zone. After that, Alika Johnston swings for Shino Yoshin, shy of the goal line, but Maggie John finishes the point. Scandal battled valiantly, but Traffic emerged victorious, and on game point, it's Moen shooting up line, and a near mistake becomes a celebration. Vancouver's Traffic survives and defeats Scandal 15-12. Scandal hoping to bounce back versus the still undefeated Seattle Riot. DC off to the quick start here. It's Maggie John to Amy Hudson in the end zone for DC. Later, Sandy Jurgensen's low release deflected, but still arriving to Beach for the Scandal score. In the second half, however, Riot took charge. Serge Griffith fakes and finds Kelly Johnson. Griffith again creating space and tabbing Angelica Boyden in the end zone. Game point now for Riot, and Johnson likes her odds, shooting for Hannah Kawhi. Seattle Riot improved to 6-0 in the Open, taking down Scandal 15-9. On the men's side, Minneapolis SubZero remain one of the 2 undefeated teams in day 1. But a different story on Friday. Going against Boston Ironside, Jacob Taylor finds Josh Marquette to get the boat going for Boston. SubZero responds with Eric Johnson dishing for Josh Klain. And how about those striped jerseys? Boston back with Marquette bluffing the Scoober and tossing the easy backhand to George Stubbs. This a back-and-forth game. Simon Montague, the quick catch and trigger to the end zone for Kyle Gill. But Sub unbeaten no more. Marquette chooses a Scoober this time and helps Boston beat Minneapolis 15-12. Meanwhile, the other perfect men's squad from day 1 also encountered a struggle in the morning. Denver's Johnny Bravo battling Seattle's Sakai. Bravo down by 2, but inches closer here. Jack McShane finding Henry Conker. But Sakai keeps its lead. Justin Lim finishes the around. Joe Sefton in the end zone. Again down by 2. Bravo hangs tough. Sean Keegan's low throw saved by Ryan Farrell, who initiates the give and go with Jimmy Mickle. But on game point for Sakai, it's Vero Titcomb over the top to Sefton. And Seattle takes down Bravo 14-12. No more undefeated teams left after 4 rounds of play in the men's division. SubZero's next game against San Francisco Revolver. Ashlyn Joy's big flick intercepted by the uber-athletic Eric Johnson. SubZero capitalizes. It's Montague deep to space, and Kyle Gill full extension for the score. A good start for Minneapolis, but Revolver proved too tough in this one. Cassie Rasmussen, low release to Russell Wynn, who finds Marcelo Sanchez wide open for the score. Rasmussen distributes again, a rising backhand to Zach Travis in the end zone. And then Revolver closes it out with a little luck. Evan Boucher's throw narrowly eludes Bo Kittredge, but Chris Kasednar there to clean up the trash, and then Nick Schlag in the end zone finishes it for the 15-8 San Francisco victory. Could Revolver keep it rolling against Ironside? Boston begins with a crafty Josh Marquette, who saucers the flick to Taylor. One more to Garcia for the score. Later in the game, the Boston offense found a rhythm, with George Stubbs offering superb touch. Danny Clark calls it in. Revolver would retaliate. Robbie Cahill, high release backhand for Kittredge, and he's wide open. Tied at 13 now. Ironside with the disc, and Marquette scoots up line, finding the alley for Danny Clark. Ironside by 1. And then after forcing the turn and taking a timeout, Jack Hatchett initiates play, deals for John Stubbs, and the Ironside D-line breaks Revolver to close out the 15-13 Boston win. How about another Boston Bay Area battle? We've got one in the mixed division with Wild Card and Polar Bears. Boston in the gold. Lauren McNamara finds Adrian Banerjee, who gives up the body and makes the play. Wild Card took half 8-5, but the Polar Bears kept fighting. Anshi So dials long for Eric Greenwood, and he's got it. Wild Card remains sharp, though. Scott Gatto discovers Cody McInnes. Boston in gear with his 13-9 victory. Next up, Wild Card facing Toronto's Union. The Canadians came to play. Peyton Lung hits Cameron Dunning in the end zone. Later on, Matt Chelu floats it for Stephen Lee, and Union in sync. Wild Card near the end zone. McInnes open again, and this score ties it at 4. A tight game throughout. We fast forward to the second half. Union's Melissa Lundgren launches deep, deflected by Lauren McNamara, but Matt Kirk secures the ricochet for the big Toronto score. In the end, by the slimmest of margins, Union takes down Wild Card 11-10. We followed Wild Card for one more heartstopper against the Chad Larson experience. In the black, CLX sets up Sarah Pesh, who deals to Melissa Gibbs in the end zone. Wild Card counters with another tremendous play. Kara Hammer looking for Dennis Agneal. Horizontal happiness. And if you thought that'd be the play of the day, just hang on. Barrett Davis targeting Megan Liu with the left hand. She's got it. In the end, CLX closed it out with easy offense. Captain Kevin Sealer places it for Ryan Tucker, and in another nail-biter, it's CLX 14, Wild Card 13.
Plenty of permutations and possibilities as the final round of pool play concludes on Saturday morning, and then semifinal action begins at noon here in Minnesota. That's 1 o'clock Eastern. Here at the 2014 U.S. Open Championships, I'm Evan Lepler, and thanks for watching.